For me, the Rolling Stones' EXILE on Main Street is their most perfect double album. However, one point I just thought of is, are most double albums meant to be perfect? I mean, take London Calling by the Clash. It's more or less faultless up until Lost in the Supermarket, and after that there's a couple of great songs. Guns N' Brixton, obviously, and obviously the closer, Train in Vain, but I think it gets much more experimental and hit and miss after this point in the album. Not that I'm a massive Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, but I have the album By the Way, and although it's one CD, if it was released in the 70s, it would be at least 2 vinyls. So I'm saying, for the purposes of this video, we can call By the Way a double album, because EXILE on Main Street and London Calling are both also single CDs. But I remember listening to By the Way. There's a track after the Zephyr song, a really good slow burner, which I thought was fantastic. But after that, which was about track 9, I seem to remember, it just lost patience with the album and turned it off. I think I listened to it to the end a couple of times. There were a few tracks I enjoyed, but none that grabbed me quite as much as the first 9. And don't start me on physical graffiti. I mean, maybe I have some kind of block on that album, as I thought Zeppelin's first 3 or 4 were so perfect. But yeah, there's a couple of decent songs on it, but I really can't see the hype. In fact, I probably prefer listening to Houses of the Holy or even Presence. I mean, the tracks that bookend Presence, Achilles' Last Stand, T41 are the perfect tracks, and they're both 10 minutes long, so as length goes, half of Presence is already perfect. Concept albums are also a slightly different kettle of fish. There are many great concept albums that are double albums, but the most concept albums feature a lot of small tracks in between the main songs, kind of musical epilogues and prologues that don't really work stand-alone songs, but narratively fit the album perfectly. so I don't consider concept albums part of this discussion, and I, and perhaps my loyal followers, won't quite believe I've missed one particular album out of this discussion so far. Psychedelic Pill, Neil Young's last album with the classic Crazy Horse lineup, which came out in 2012, which is 2 CDs and I believe an epic 4 whole LPs or 8 individual sides of vinyl. However, in terms of track quantity, there's nothing which separates this album from a standard single album. What makes this track so long is Neil and the horse looking together and jamming. I mean, one of the songs is almost half an hour. 2 of the tracks are about 17 minutes long, but this is them doing what they do best, which is why it's a fucking great album, but not, in my opinion, a typical double album. So maybe I'm contradicted myself and included too many caveats to make this argument strongly, but I guess what I'm saying is most double albums aren't meant to be perfect, and I guess they're there so that listener can skip or stop listening and come back later when they feel like it. What do you think? Was that a fair discussion or not? Why not tell me below? Whack the like button regardless. Make sure you tick that bell and are subscribed. Cheerio, see you soon.